Welcome to Metamorphosis with Dr. Tassel Faith. In the next hour, you will embark on a journey to awaken your inner identity, remember the truth of who you are, and come home to yourself. Enter your transformative chrysalis, experience the fundamental change you need, and emerge a leader for your own life and for the planet. Align with your spirit and become the being you were always meant to be. Leap fearlessly into the powerful change awaiting you. Transform your world naturally and supernaturally. Lead with your magic, trust the unseen, experience quantum leaps. Metamorphosis begins now. Everyone, I'm Dr. Tassel Faith, your priestess of metamorphosis, and you're listening to the Metamorphosis Show on the Transformation Talk Radio. Please stay with us over the next hour and let us help you experience your own personal metamorphosis. And I'm just beyond delighted to welcome our honored guest, Joshua Sandstrom, who is just an amazing being and has become a really great friend. And I'll just start with his bio, which is just magical. Joshua is a yogi, an entrepreneur, and a global adventurer. How cool is that? Come on, it's just great. Joshua, at 17 years old, set out on his own to learn the education of the universe while traveling the world. And for over 10 years, he explored the Andes and Himalayan mountains, studying agriculture systems of ancient cultures and operating a fair trade development business. For over 10 years, he's been advising and installing renewable energy and permaculture systems. He's also a full stack digital marketer and a founding member of the Life Force Academy, a Kundalini yoga membership platform helping people transform and lift up their lives from the inside out. And today, Joshua lives in the mountains of Western North Carolina with his family. Welcome, welcome, Joshua.
Thank you so much for having me, Tassel. It's great to be here. And it's been great to get to know you over this year and finally be here on the show.
Yes, getting to know you has really been a highlight of the past year for me. I just you just exude so much integrity and authenticity and evolved consciousness, and I'm getting tears. It just really touches my heart.
Oh. Well, the muscles that we strengthen get stronger.
Yes.
Fun hearing you read that little bio back, hearing that out loud and realizing that really, like, the word empowerment is what comes to mind again and again when I think about my life path, or I think all of our life paths is we're on a journey of awakening and of empowering ourselves and empowering each other to, and what is that? What is empower? To embody power.
Yes, power. I love that. And where do you land on that at this moment in time? It's probably always evolving, but how do you see that?
Well, I think humanity has changed a lot recently in the past couple hundred years away from how we had been for so long before. And so a lot of these things we talk about in the modern day, intuition, empowerment, I think that people have a tendency to think about them as this thing you got to go get. It's this thing that's out there, and that you acquire certain skills or you attend certain, and perhaps you will get these things, but really these things come from the inside. And currently being in such an outwardly focused society with certain definite distractions and things just taking our awareness, busyness, entertainment, things that have us looking outside of ourselves. We're trained to do that, and actually the empowerment comes from within.
Oh my goodness. Drop the mic. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That feels like such a journey that I know I've been on, and many of us been on have been on this switch from looking on the outer to looking within ourselves. And I think you and I have talked about this many times, but just from the time we're little babies, really, or a little older, we're really taught to turn our eyes away from ourselves
Mhm.
and to the agendas and programming of our culture. And I just love that you brought that up. And for you, how do you nurture, tune in, connect with your empowerment and your intuition within you?
Well, intuition has been at the forefront of my priority list for all of my adult life. And I have connected to that. To me, I realized at a young age, like until I know how to listen to this, there's really not much else to do. And
Listen
until
to your own intuition.
to my intuition, to my
Yeah.
inner knowing, inner compass, inner voice.
Yes.
And I'm honestly still learning how to do that fully. I think I do it a lot. And it's everything from it, I find it difficult to trust your intuition when it's big decisions, especially at first. If you're getting used to or still sorting out what is my mind, what is my intuition, how do I know the difference? Is it my negative mind, my positive mind? Is it, and the intuition is the first voice that we hear. It's usually a whisper. It's usually very quiet, very clear, subtle, and direct. And quickly after that, the mind starts to come in with its chatter and start weighing the options and looking at the positive, looking at the negative. So I connect with it through little things. Driving to town, which way should I go? Which way is going to be the clearest traffic? And then test it. My intuition says go this way, go that way. Visualizing the day. Intuition is very linked to intention in my experience. It's hard to intuit something when you're not sure what you're intuiting toward. And so having that sense of purpose and intent, well, now, because I think the intuition is us looking from a higher level, like holding the map of our life in our own hand, and then we and our human self are down here on the ground walking it out on the map, looking out of our eyeballs and navigating from ground level. And so the intuition just has that whole map and is like, well, if you go this way, you're going to get it's just able to see more clearly. And that's the biggest thing, is realizing, again, this intuition is not outside of me. It is me. I am that. I can trust
Oh
this.
my goodness. Oh, so much wisdom here. Yes, I love everything you've shared. I love that you've made this beautiful distinction about our intention is a part of the whole process of the intuition having sort of a place to land, a direction to go in. So part of this to me means living a conscious life with our intentions, thinking about what direction we want to move in every aspect of our lives. And then, as you said, really learning to hear the intuition. And I love that you said that you test out your intuition on smaller things. And are you now able to pretty much just follow your intuition on the big decisions in your life?
I'm able to hear it clearly, and I do my best to follow it. And I'd say that I probably do a lot. And there's still, you definitely know when your intuition tells you something and you don't do it. And then
Yeah.
you have the experience, and then you're like, I probably should have. And sometimes you never know, but sometimes it's clear. Oh yeah, had I chose that other way, this would have all gone way smoother or way different.
Yes. I don't know
So
if we've,
you know when you don't, and that's a little bit more of a teacher for me, or has been over the years, because it's painful, and you're like, dang it, why didn't I just, you know?
yes,
So you hope to learn from that, and
yes,
we always get another chance, you know?
yes. I can't remember if I've shared with you a little bit of my background, but I was very, very cut off from my intuition for 3/4 of my life, probably at least. And I definitely walked that path of following other people's agendas for my life, this mishmash of my parents and society. And I really ended up miscreating a very catastrophic life in so many ways. And it was only through this process of coming back to myself, of starting, it was just whispers. I would just hear whispers of my intuition at first. I couldn't delineate what it really was, and took a lot of time to come back to that inner voice. But that is what absolutely 180 degrees changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it's
find with
just amazing.
exactly, and it does start small. And I think that's an important thing to share, is how all of change in life is made up of like incremental daily choices,
Yes.
and it's the last thing we all need is to be guilt tripping ourselves, or inner criticing ourselves, because we're to feel like we're not making change fast enough, or whatever it is. It's little things every single day. And another way that I have found useful to get in touch with intuition and my body is with food. Well, what what do I want to eat today? What is my body, what's gonna be most nourishing to my body? Is it the latte? Well, that sounds good, and some days yes, but every day turns out no. Is it the superfood power shake with the protein powder? I get a yes on that one every day, and I take it, and I feel good. So anything that connects us back to ourself, using the intuition for body, for lifestyle choices, for products we use, muscle testing comes into that, where we're just overall learning to feel our way through our life with our spirit, with the tuning fork that we are, the instrument that we are, just by being here.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Yes, learning to feel our way through our life rather than think our way through our
Hmm.
life, which is what most of us were taught.
Hmm.
Um, I love so much that you brought up the food example, and I'll just quickly share that I have a similar experience where definitely I think I have a food addiction, and I think that's probably fairly common in our society, but I will tend to turn to food emotionally. And when I can just sort of not not feed into that, but just ask my body what really my body wants, it's very different answers than that emotional aspect of me. And it's whole foods, it's fruit, it's everything unprocessed. And so, but it's, to me, it's also just an interesting walk to notice how that addiction will come up, or that emotional response will come up to want certain food. Um,
Definitely. Well, I know, and that's a tricky character, that part of our psyche that we all share. And
yeah.
I what I've had a lot of success with there is, with habits in general. I really subscribe to the 80/20 rule of life in many ways. And
Yes.
and there's a lot of ways it shows up. But when it comes to, say, like recreation, it's like, well, just 80% of the time, be strong, go hard, do the work, so that 20% of the time you can fully let go and unplug and go into this other more recreative self. And I find that, rather than I find that rather than like focusing on eliminating a habit that I know no longer serves me or I've outgrown or whatever it is, that I have a lot more luck with just adding better habits into my life. And that
Yes.
naturally there's only so much room in the day, right, for habits, for things that we do over and over again, and then the day starts over. So by just adding ones that are better and that I feel better with, some of them other ones just fall away because they don't have a time slot anymore. And
Yes.
I get more progress with that method.
Yes. I love that so much. And I think it's also so interesting. So many of our habits are so unconscious. We're not even sometimes aware that we're what we're doing. I know this example of food, this was a big thing in my family. You just turn to food for anything. Doesn't matter. You're happy, sad, bored, whatever. And I just picked that up without even really in the beginning being conscious of it. That, oh, this is a habit that I'm just doing unconsciously. And then becoming conscious of that, and then saying, okay, I'm interested in shifting this habit. Let me maybe for 30 days, and apparently that's about the time it takes for the neural networks to shift, be conscious of if I have that pattern of reaching for food when I'm bored, let's say, oh, let's do something else. And just seeing how you can change your habits when you're making conscious choices about them.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice. Thank
It's just
goodness.
like amazing that that's really to me just one of the main paths is just being conscious in general of everything I'm doing, thinking, being. Just being very mindful of everything that's going on with oneself.
Yeah, and just one asking, why do I do this? Okay, there's a reason. Oh,
Yes.
great. You know,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
we're all running toward pleasure and away from pain at our
Yes.
very deep part of our brain, you know, and we're all run
Exactly.
by these brain chemicals that are ruling so much of what we do, you know, and you talk about like, why do we even do the things we do? And part of the self-discovery that I found really nourishing is learning about these brain chemicals that are induced through different experiences, and that is at the end of the day what we're all in it for is inner experiences of self, you know, and whether it's the dopamine that's released in the brain from everything from social media to buying something at the store, to drugs, things that are releasing dopamine in the brain, and then we're like, oh, I like how that feels, I want to feel more of that, and I want to feel that again. Or the serotonin, you know, that's released when we feel that still status boost of getting a promotion or getting there's the inner status and of feeling better about the self. You accomplished, you got your next martial arts belt, or you know, whatever it was. But just how these brain chemicals are what are leading to everything.
That
And
is so true and so interesting. And I'm curious how you reckon all of that with this sense of just inner peace that perhaps we're also really attracted to. Is that separate from this chemical experience?
um well, you know, I was talking about how we've changed so much in the past couple hundred years, and prior to that we were very much the same as humans and what we experienced for thousands. And what we're wired to do is work really, really, really hard at something, or consistently at something, repetitively at something over time. And how that would show up 1,000 years ago is walking for days with no food and water to try to get to a, you know, a water source or a food source. And you get there and finally the water, and look, there's even a ripe apple tree, and you take the apple, and it's the most incredible, delicious, amazing thing you've ever tasted, because it's probably the first one you've ever had, and or they only come around once a year in season. And so that's how our brain's wired, is for little rewards, rewards after an achievement. And what, as society's become more and more modern, it's brought more and more reward uh into our lives, and made it easier and easier to attain that reward. And so the brain is constantly like dopamine, 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 and then the brain becomes addicted to it and wants more of it all the time. And so then we're constantly seeking instant gratification, because that is instantly releasing this dopamine in the brain. And just knowing that, just knowing, oh, this is what's happening, and I'm being, in a certain sense, allowing myself to be taken advantage of. I didn't know it, but now I do, by this things in our society that are engineered to keep us going for that. And I like experiencing the full spectrum of life. I like working. I love working. I love working toward things. I love working toward things with others and building things bigger than we can on our own. I also, after a healthy dose of that, I love unplugging. I love adventuring. I love going deep into my mystical side, and just experiencing the well-roundedness of myself. And so I think that's how I reckon it, is I just try to enjoy all of it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Being aware of, this may sound a little bit derogatory, but sort of our inner addict, or, this part of us that can really get keyed into these dopamine and serotonin hits, and just being aware of that,
Mm-hmm.
not labeling that as bad necessarily, but just being aware that is what's going on, and we can see that. And then, as you said, these other aspects of life, this inner peace that is within all of us, that probably is a different experience than this dopamine and serotonin experience, and the mystical experience, all of it. Yes, because we're human spirit beings, and it feels like we're here just to experience all of it.
I think so.
Yeah.
We're here to play. We're here to work together. We're here to enjoy. We're here to do a
Yes.
lot of things that are currently not modeled in our society.
Yes.
And a tool that I've carried with me for a very long time is the tool of Kundalini yoga.
Yeah.
And as far as inner discovery and inner stamina, chi, building a strong inner environment, ecosystem, that practice has been the primary, I would say, super tool that I've used over the years to just create a little bit of healthy separation between my identity of self as I really am, and the way that I'm identified out in the world, or the way that the world sees us and how we see ourselves. It's just important that there's a healthy boundary there, and that we have practices to continue self-discovery. you know I like Kundalini yoga because I can do it anywhere, at any time, in any moment. In my work team, we start every single day with a small meditation practice together. It's we do the morning sprint, and we do the Monday meeting, and even if it's an all-day team meeting, the length of the meeting determines the length of the the meditation we're going to do. And we put on the music, and we tune in, and we do the Kriya together, and it's maybe 3 minutes, maybe 11, maybe 31, but it's just simple. Yeah, we're all on Zoom, and we're running a business and doing all these things. However, we're bringing the mystic into it, and we're bringing the actual what runs all of us into the heart of what we're doing. It's cool.
Oh my goodness, what a great practice. I love that. Would it be okay to ask you what some of your very favorite Kundalini Kriyas are?
Yeah.
I'd love
Yeah.
to know.
So one of my all-time favorites would be the Sudarshan Chakra Kriya. It's a little more of an advanced Kriya. It involves you inhale through your left nostril, you hold your breath. There's a navel pumping exercise that you do for as many times as you can, but up to 48 times, and exhale out your right nostril. Inhale left, exhale right, and it just helps balance the hemispheres of the brain while also lifting that Kundalini energy up from the navel up into the other parts of the body, the heart, the mind, where it can just, heart, mind, and body can blend into one. So I love that one. A little bit more. A lot of the ones I love are not considered like beginner practices
Mm-hmm.
at this point, but Tertiala Kriya. Tertiala is another one that I absolutely love.
Mm.
One of the more well-known and equally powerful, but definitely more simple kriyas would be Kirtan Kriya. That may be one that it's probably most well known because it has some triple blind studies that have been done about it, and its ability to work with dementia and Alzheimer's symptoms and actually reduce and minimize them. So that's Kirtan Kriya, Kirtan, and Kriya is Kriya. If you just search that, you'll pull up some really cool information that's research from both directions. And that one's just simply connecting your fingertips
Yeah.
to your thumb while you
Yeah.
go through saying a mantra on the
A mantra.
inside.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, we can talk more about that after the break.
I love that. I'll just share that one of my favorite kriyas, it's probably a more beginner kriya, but is the Sat kriya.
Mm-hmm.
Holding your hands over your head and being in rock pose and saying Sat Nam.
Yep.
And that has been so transformative for me because a lot of my journey was coming into my own inner truth. And I believe Satnam means truth is my name, or I am truth. And
Yeah.
that Kriya really, I did that, I think a 60-day practice every day. And not that that's that long, but that really, I think, helped me come back into my truth.
I love that one too. It's
Yeah. So like
so
fierce.
yes,
Yeah.
strengthening, aligning.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah. It feels so pure.
those four
Um,
are actually superstars. All four of those.
yeah. Yeah. So we'll just take a really short break and then we will come back with just more amazing wisdom and joy with the amazing Joshua Sandstrom. Hello and welcome back to the Metamorphosis Show. I'm Dr. Tassel Faith and I'm here with the amazing Joshua Sandstrom. And Joshua, I just wanted to ask you if people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way to contact you? And do you have any upcoming events that you'd like to share, anything like that?
Yeah, well, so I was talking a little about Kundalini yoga and carrying that thread further. It's always been a big part of my life for the past 20 years. And one of my closest and most longtime friend and we met under this brother Jaidev, and we met under the context of Kundalini yoga when we were much younger and as part of our lives for a long time. And then about 10 years ago, we started a online teaching platform called Life Force Academy. And Life Force Academy is a home base on the internet for a really wonderful experience of Kundalini yoga that you can bring right into your home, into your living room, onto any device, streaming or downloadable content as well. It's a membership platform where there's several options. There's like a monthly membership option. We have also courses that are all about Kundalini yoga, Ayurveda. We have a business course. We have all sorts of just really good self-empowerment content from the vehicle of Kundalini yoga, which is not just exercises. It's a whole, there's a whole world of different things. And one of the things that's follows along the Kundalini yoga thread traditionally is, Kundalini yoga is a householder yoga. So it is not a renunciate path. It is not like monks meditating in caves. It is not that. It is the path of the householder. It is the path of the person with a career, with a family, with children, with a partner, with romance, with that prosperity, because all of those things, that's the prosperous side of life. It's hard to do any of that stuff as a renunciate monk. It's a big clash, a culture clash, actually. And so prosperity goes hand in hand with the Kundalini householder life. It's a Raj yoga. Raj means royal. So in this royal lineage of Kundalini is prosperity. And that's something that I teach a lot about inside of our Life Force Academy, is something that we call our Dharma Business School, something that we created a few years back as an initial framework for people to learn about conscious business, utilizing modern day tools of digital marketing, tools that didn't exist a couple decades ago at all, and tools that barely existed 10 years ago. And in the past 5 to 10 years, how this world has emerged that has made it so possible for the everyday person who has a big mission. We all are carrying inside of us a calling. As something, and a calling could be anything. It could be, and it can take lots of forms throughout your life, but a calling, a sense that we're intuitively led toward. It's usually a little scary. It's usually something that you procrastinate for a while before you embark on it, or not. Some people jump right into it, but they're using these modern day tools of digital marketing to reach people all over the world, usually in the palm of their hand on their smartphone, is all part of the gifts of the information age that we live in. And when I've been traveling the world and studying prophecy over the years, and just learning, I learned that this information age that we're now in would be leading to a light age, or an age where we do come in to that inner peace quality on the inside, and that radiates out and helps tip the scales more toward inner peace on the outside. And that all of that is connected to living a life of purpose. And living a life of purpose is possible when we have access to the tools to actualize our purpose. And I have found that very much in the digital marketing world, where all these tools, these free business tools, are available for anyone to pick up and use for little to no money, and put together a compelling offer with your purposeful vision in the vehicle of a business, a dharmic business, dharma meaning purpose. And so we created this Dharma Business School as a way to just help people see that, hey, this stuff was hard 10, 20 years ago, but nowadays it's easy, and you can just put it together and bring it forward and give it life and get it out there for the world to see, and just get rolling. That's been a lot of fun. And I really enjoy that, because so many there's just so many roles to be filled in a healthy society. We need all the things. And I may not be called to all those roles, and you may not be called, but we need somebody to be called to the role of recycling pickup. And we need somebody called to the role of lawn care, landscaping, maintenance, and all the restaurant owner, the things we all like to enjoy. Well, on the other end, that's somebody's job. And we want, in creating a healthy society, to create just bringing fun into the workplace and joy into the purposeful business, and then success, because the health of a business is measured by its positive cash flow and its net profit at the end of the year. Otherwise, it's not a business, it's a hobby or a nonprofit. So Dharma Business School has been a lot of fun. And coming up in this new calendar year, 2023, we are launching the Dharma Business Apprenticeship. And this is a multiple month journey that is going to build on our initial Dharma Business School course, but then take people on a transformative journey throughout, many months, and kind of like start beginning, middle, end, the platform, the foundation of your creation, how do I get it out into the world and get it in front of the people that are meant to see it. And then once I get those parts working, and it's bringing in revenue, and it's converting, all right, how do I now scale this up or add more to it to really turn it into something that can grow and something that can thrive. And I think that as we more and more use these tools and become more purposeful in our life, including our livelihood, that's where we see the environment get better. We see the amount of happiness and joy on people's faces increasing. Just these natural body language metrics that are visible in the day-to-day of our society.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you shared all of that. I want to just share with the listeners that this is how I first connected with you, through your amazing Life Force Academy, which is just amazing. I highly recommend anyone who's interested in anything to do with Kundalini yoga and spirituality in general, just to please check that out. What an amazing platform, membership platform it is. And then I took I think it was a free 4-day business Dharma course a few years ago. And I was just blown away by you and Jaidev, and both by just both of you as beings, and then the content that you were sharing. I think what I just love about Life Force Academy is it just, to me, again, had so much integrity and savviness. It just seems like you've been able to marry a very high consciousness spiritually with really great business sense. And there's just such a beautiful, just honesty and integrity and success of your business that is really obvious.
Oh, thank you. That's the idea. That's what we're aiming for, is simple. Less is more. I think it's proven to me again and again, simple is sophisticated.
Yes. And your graphics are gorgeous too, I just have to say. Do you do some of the graphics for the artwork?
I do a lot of graphics work and have skills in that way, but I do not. We outsource that, and we have had a really fun handful of graphic designers over the years that we've worked with to help create that aesthetic. People far more gifted than me. And
yes, you have a beautiful aesthetic on the site. It's just beautiful. Just the whole thing.
It's a fun journey going from, because I'm coming back to empowerment as kind of the key word that I find defines my life and the choices that I make. I'm very much a do-it-yourself, figure it out. If someone else can do it, I can do it too. And it's been great to live by that. And it's also been great as I have gotten older to realize, well, just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Right.
And that there is huge power and leverage in working with people usually
Yes.
smarter than me in that particular arena, and yeah, just both the sharing of resources and bringing more people in to, paying people for their work, which feels great, but then
Yeah.
learning, you're bringing in someone who knows more than you, and you're learning and you're receiving that transmission, and that's bringing your own experience up.
Yes. And it seems that fits in with what you were saying about keeping things simple, that you don't have to do everything. I mean, you can't really scale a business if you're tied into that orientation of doing everything yourself.
And yet it's what is often very much required to get a business off the ground.
Yes, in the beginning stages. Yes.
It's why
Yes.
it's important, because where is that
Yeah.
point where you, as the do it all person, where's the point where that becomes a liability and you start to be
Yes.
in the way? I see that happen as you get a team around you. At first it's you, and then you get one assistant and this assistant, but it's still very much you're that center point. And I think of that as like a wheel, like a wooden uh, wagon wheel, and
Yeah.
there's that center point, the founder. But then as these spokes to the different departments get created on that wheel, and then they start to take on a life of their own,
Yeah.
once there's like this energetic sense of a bigger sphere of support around that founding visionary, okay, that's where, and I think it's different for every business, but that's where, the metric is that the business should be able to run better without you than with you.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're
Yes.
no longer a startup and you've made it to enterprise.
Um, I
Is
love
you can
that.
go away for a week to go ski or
Yeah.
go sail, things that I love to do, and you come back and things are better than ever.
Right, right, right. I I see being an entrepreneur as a vehicle of spiritual growth, just like our closest relationships. I mean, everything we do, that's really, we're really invested in and really working through, every day. It just feels like so much personal growth happens on the journey of being an entrepreneur.
Has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it can be a fairly trying to pick a nice word, intense path at times. And
Yes.
you
Yes.
cannot succeed as an entrepreneur without being committed to massive personal growth.
Yes. Can I ask you, because I think this would be interesting if you're okay with answering it, what have been one or some of the biggest challenges for you as an entrepreneur where you really had to grow in ways that maybe felt uncomfortable at first?
Well, when you're procrastinating making life shifts that you really want to make, but you just don't know how,
Yeah.
um, and you see other people experiencing it and you want to be there,
Yeah.
that yeah, that stirs up some feelings, on the inside of self-worth stuff and self-confidence, and it brings up some of the more negative feelings as you're feeling where you really are, and you know where you want to be, and you're really reaching to get there, but
Yeah.
you're not there yet. And I found that to be very motivating, is after a certain point that pain becomes strong enough that it is bigger than the procrastination and the insecurities and the reasons why you're holding back. And it causes you, it's like those two things get at odds, and that charge just gets big enough that it's just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go for it. And And the hardest part is starting. Once you start, the pressure is almost immediately off,
Yeah.
because it's the minute you start step one of anything new, the longer you put it off, the bigger it feels.
Yeah.
And to the point that it can become really silly. Like it's this huge thing in your mind, and then you get out there to finally do it, and it's, oh, that took 20 minutes. And now
Yes.
I'm done.
Yes.
So like the intuition, I try to learn with little things, and I still am going through my own new levels of,
Yeah.
because I've reached a huge milestone in my life that used to look far away.
Yeah.
Now there's a way bigger one, and those feelings of, oh, how can I get there quicker? Why aren't I there yet? I'm a little more lenient now with myself about those real strong feelings, because I've had a lot of success, but I think it's helped me to know that every human being goes through those same experiences. What that's helped me on every level, personally and in business, and relationship, and all of it is like every single person struggles with these things. Like, come on,
Yeah.
this is not a big deal. This is okay. Yeah. So again, Kundalini yoga, daily practice, something to move the energy, something to, cold shower, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, eating high nutrition foods, like setting myself up for success, so
Yeah.
that the highest probability of a productive day.
Yes.
And then I just
Yes.
try to chip away at like one thing, you know.
Right.
I've got
Right.
my main job, I've got my side hustle stuff, I've got my consulting, I've got all this
Yeah.
stuff, and you can't do it all, so it's simple. And then I'm happy if I can get 1 to 2 big things moved off my plate each day, or a handful of little things. And then
Yeah.
just knowing what's important versus what's not is a big part of that. Like, you
Yeah.
got your to-do list, great, but then do you have that to-do list broken out into like highest priority, medium
Yes.
priority, low priority, maybe someday, and then
Yes.
tackling those highest priority things first, those rocks in the jar, and then leave the pebbles in the sand for if you get to it.
Yes. Yes. Oh gosh, I just really resonate with everything you've shared on the path of entrepreneurship. And I know for me, one of my biggest resistances in moving forward is when I come up against something that I don't know how to do. That's very new. Whether it's building a funnel or something like that. And that's where I get a lot of resistance. My mind starts to feel so uncomfortable. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. And as you said, I do find when I finally move through that and sit down and start doing it, the guidance will come in. It is what I don't know what to do, but I'll just get a nudge. Oh, just do this, or just call this person, or just when I actually sit down to do it, it will flow. But it's my fear that sometimes will keep me from starting because I don't know what to do feeling.
I think that's one of the biggest epidemics of our time.
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and it's paper thin. That little wall of procrastination is paper thin. We all do it.
Yes.
We do it for the same reasons. And since we all
Yes.
do it, and we can laugh about it, and then we can move through it, like you said. And
Yes.
that saying that I find to be very true, that you take one step toward
Yes.
life, or in the direction of your dreams, and your dreams take 1,000 steps towards you.
Yes.
And
That's
I
beautiful.
I think that's what we're experiencing when we sit down and just like, all right, I'm going to take the first step. And all of a sudden, the whole universe can now
Yeah.
do its job, but it can't do it until we, the instrument,
Yes.
get in line and open ourselves to receive.
I'm getting massive chills as you're saying that, which is always feels like spirit being like, yes, this is true. Yes.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, total goosebumps as you were saying that. That's what it feels like. It feels like when you take that first step just on faith, you don't even know what you're doing really. It feels like everything starts to come in, but you have to claim it first. You have to take that first energetic and physical action. And then another thing I really notice is it also seems like a huge thing is to block out the billion things that you could be doing as an entrepreneur, or just any type of thing in your life. There's always a billion things that you could do. And just like, as you said, like focus on the highest priority. And often the highest priority can be things that you don't know how to do, that you might have resistance to. And it's easy to be like, well, I'll just do these things that seem productive, but they're not really that high value at that moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I've had success with those things. And something that I heard the other day that was great, just a little snippet in an audio. I was listening to an article about procrastination, and it was just why do we do it, and what's going on in the neural circuitry back in there. And this woman said, the thing that you're putting off is not what you're procrastinating. What you're actually procrastinating is the thing you would need to do next once you get done with that thing you're putting off. And so just kind of that we build these layers into our life of busyness that keep us on a little bit of a daily wheel of not quite getting to that thing that's really important. And that the reason we don't get to it is once it's done, then the next thing behind it is going to move into that highest priority slot, and we're going to have to finally do it. And that's the thing that our self-confidence is coming up in, and our low self-esteem is being triggered by. And so I found that very peculiar. I had never thought of that, like, oh wow, that's got some layers going on in here that we need to be aware of in ourselves.
Yes. Oh my goodness. This is really gets to me, like the core of moving forward in one's life is really what we're talking about. Procrastination and fear and low self-worth at times, imposter syndrome, whatever it is. But
Baby steps.
Yes. I took a Tony Robbins business mastery course a couple of years ago, and the word I came home with was execute. Execute. And I add into that imperfect action. That always helps me. Okay. Might not be perfect, but I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take that next step. Yeah.
My grandpa told me that one. He said, do anything, do something, even if it's wrong.
Yes. It will just move you forward in some way. You can adjust, redo it, but just move forward like a river. Keep flowing like a river.
Well, with the intuition, that's the thing, is choose. Don't just sit there in indecision. Pick one. If it's wrong, you're going to know right away if it's wrong. If it's right, cool.
Yes. Get on the horse.
Get on the
horse. You might fall off, but it's okay. You'll get back up. Awesome. So we'll wrap up here. What a delight, Joshua. I just love talking to you. Just so much wisdom and so much joy, and just big, huge fan of yours.
Well, I hope we do it again.
Yes, me too. And to all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the Metamorphosis Show. Please check out Life Force Academy and this upcoming, is it called Business
Dharma Business Apprenticeship.
Dharma. Yes, I want to do it. I told you that before. Yeah, it just sounds amazing. Everything Joshua does is amazing. So please check out everything that he's doing. It'll just be wonderful for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Great to be here.
Bye for now.
Thank you
for joining Dr. Tassel Faith, Priestess of Metamorphosis, on your road to transformation and freedom. Each step takes you closer to becoming an awakened, empowered, courageous, and a moves mountains kind of person. Join us again, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 12 noon Eastern Time for more guidance and encouragement. Until then, lead with your magic, trust the unseen, experience quantum leaps.